Hey everybody, welcome to Texas Game Hunters Online. We are going to go through the internal features of the X-Sight 4K. I got my phone scope hooked up to the X-Sight so you guys can see what's going on. There's a little refresh line that you're seeing going across the screen. You do not see that with your naked eyes, but you do see that with another video recording device. So we press OK for the menu button. We're just going to go through the menus. Press the right arrow key, you go over to the night mode. You would then press OK to switch to night mode, which of course, looking at my wall, you're not going to see any difference. Go back to night mode, and we are back off of night mode again. That's switching back and forth. So now, actually, we're on daytime. I was on night mode because that's the last time I used it. So back to the menu. We scroll over again, you have the built-in Rangefinder mode. Honestly, it's a good concept. I don't like the feature just because you have to know the exact height of your target. It's a mathematical calculation. This is not the Able laser rangefinder that hooks up to the scope. This is the built-in, just like the X-Sight 2, the mathematical version of the rangefinder. So go over again and you have the shortcuts that you can turn off and on, which expand your menu shortcuts on the widget. That's not expanded and that's expanded. I like having it expanded because you have everything on. Hit the right button again and you get to the distance entry, which you can then move this over a little bit here. It's hard to see, but you can scroll, use your focus knob to go up and down on the distance. So go back over past the distance. You then have the weather information where you put in your pressure, your humidity, all that information for your ballistic calculator. If you are not using the ballistic calculator, you do not have to use this. Sorry, hold on, let me line this back up again. Exit out, get it off shining the light. Go back over. Then you have the gallery. You can actually view your gallery on the device of pictures that are on your SD cards. I do not have my SD card in, so it's not going to show anything. Here's where you go over. Now, on the X-Sight 2, you would go here and you'd have the Wi-Fi, the ballistic calculator, the RAV, which is the recoil activated video, to turn on and off all above each other. You would have to scroll up and down to get each one. Now they're back and forth, left and right. You press the button, the OK button, to turn it on. No line through it is on. Press the OK button again, line through it is off. Same thing with the recoil activated video. As far as turning the feature on and off, this is not where you set it up. We'll get to that in a minute. And same thing with the ballistic calculator. This is not where you set it up. This is just turning it on and off. Now scroll over to the right again. You have the profile reticle. This is a shortcut to your zeroing feature, which is great. So you don't have to go all the way through the settings like you do of the X-Sight 2. You press that, you go right into the zero feature, up and down. I am going to go to save and exit because I don't want to mess up my zero. But there's a feature just like the X-Sight 2 where you can save it. If you scroll to the left from your exit, you go the opposite way and see here we are right at that zero reticle. Now let's go into the settings and show you the settings, each different settings that you have. So sorry about not having it directly on the screen everywhere, but you scroll over to the right, night vision settings for your light sensitivity. You go over again and you have your photo video settings. This is where you can store the recoil activated video, format your SD card, your video quality, your microphone on and off. Scroll over again, your display. This is where you set up the brightness, your reticle color, your reticle style. Let's go down, and so that's your screen brightness to set up, display widgets, sleep mode, reticle style. I'm going to click on that. Shape, and you have all these different shapes here that you can do. So let me move this over so you have all the different shapes. The one that I have it on is the one that I like. You have the mill dot. You have several different options here. I'm trying to move this so you guys can see the whole screen. The screen's quite larger of an optical view on the X-Sight 4K. So, which I like. So my phone scope, I'm having to sort of hold it at the same time and move everything around so you guys can see the whole screen. So my hand's getting tired, so I apologize. All right, so I'm gonna keep it on that one. And then let's go down to color. And then you can scroll left and right through the different colors that you want. I like green. It works pretty good on all the different color palettes. So hit OK. Now scroll over again. Oh, let's go back up first. There we go. So display, which we were just on, profile 0. So now you can select, same thing as the X-Sight 2. You can go to your current profile, you can go to other, you can import to your SD card, which means if you have your profile saved on your SD card, just like the X-Sight 2, you can save several different profiles. Then you will go down here to export. Once you zero in that profile, you will export it to your SD card, and then you can come back and let's say you have to do a firmware update, and then after the firmware update you always do the restore to factory settings. That will wipe out your 0. So you come back to here and go to import from your SD card, and it automatically brings back in all the profiles that you had saved to your SD card. Great feature. And then you're zeroing your able, which I do not have yet. The able is the laser rangefinder that hooks up to your X-Sight 4K. I've seen the videos. I've talked to the guys who have them. Amazing, amazing product here. I'm excited to get mine when they start shipping. So hold on, my phone sort of slipped a little bit. Let me get it squared away back there. Yes, all right, there we go. So that's your profile and your 0. So you could also go in the long way here. Hold on, I'm trying to get this back up. So you can go down to your current profile. From your current profile, you can set up your 0. You can select the ballistics for it. So let's go down to 0. Sorry, through this phone scope, it's showing everything backwards. When you guys view it, you're not going to. So you have all the ballistic coefficient. I mean, you have everything to set up here. Ballistic weight. And let me scroll it over here so you guys can see. So you have all that information here of your actual ballistics to set up for that profile. Let's go back up and out of here. Come on. There we go. Now you guys can see. Sorry about that. So I just had to focus it for you. So you guys can see everything now. So you have your sight height to set up at the bottom. Everything here for your ballistic calculator to set up. Now let's go back up and out of here. Then, oh, wrong way. Let's go down to your settings. Now with your settings, you have the units that you want your scope into, date and time, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth settings, device type. You must set your device type for your yardage to show up on your screen, your zoom to show up, for your ballistic calculator to work correctly. So make sure you set your device type and accurate to what you have. I have the X-Sight 4K Pro 5x20. That is what it's set on. My zoom is set to standard. I do not like the digital zoom because it's already digital zoom. So once you go past that, it's even more pixelated and just does not look good. And then your firmware version is on the bottom. So if you're ever having issues and anybody asks you, hey, what's your firmware version? You'll go to your settings and that's where you'll get the information. So let's go out. Let's go back to exit. Back to the main screen. So on the main screen here, let me see if I can focus it on. Let's see. Come on, show up. All right, so the main screen, my phone for some reason keeps unfocusing. I don't know why. So I apologize. Let's get my green screen in the background and see if it, nope. So I apologize for that. So if I go out of this and onto the main screen, oh, there we go. It's sort of focused a little bit so you guys can see now. There you go. So the main screen, you have the yardage in the top upper left-hand corner. The battery information in the top right-hand corner, whether you're plugged in, if your Bluetooth is on, your Wi-Fi is on, your degrees that you're pointed up or down, of course your zoom level, and on the bottom right hand corner you have your other degrees. So it's same looking, and then your compass at the top. So it looks the same as the X-Sight 2 as far as how the screen's set up. But I will say from using this, the clarity on the 4K is a lot better than the X-Sight 2, especially when you start to zoom in. The night vision is, you have better clarity through the screen. It's a larger optical relief. So you get to see the whole screen when you're looking with your eye, not just, you know, a tiny version of it and you see all the black around it. Overall, they did a pretty good improvement over the X-Sight 2. Of course, with anything new coming out, they had some bumps in the road, but they're continuing to work those out. Thanks for watching the quick internal video. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments.